Hey guys, as promised, I said I'd make another video once I got home from the thyroid uptake. I'm wearing a different shirt because it's hot and I think I've sweated out of this one. Yep, that's all I ever do is sweat. That's why I wear a lot of tank tops because I get pit stains like crazy. Whatever, that's why I wear a lot of just ratty t-shirts. I look really busty lately. Must be PMSing. So anyway, as you guys know, I did the thyroid uptake scan, part 2. Gosh, so I got in right away, which was nice. I was supposed to be there at 2:30, got there at 2:30. The guy was really funny. He was a funny tech. He put this like camera thing. It's not even a camera. It was like this thing, and he put it like on my thigh. And he said, "Do you know what this is for?" And I said, "Is it in case I have to go to the bathroom?" Just big silly. Like, no, I don't know what this is for. And he laughed. He goes, "Well, close. The reason why it goes on your thigh, it's because it's your thyroid." And I'm like, ha ha ha, kind of laughed. And I think he probably could sense that I was a little bit a little bit tense, right? So we start talking. I think he was like from Romania or something. He had an accent, and I could guess that maybe he's like Romanian. And we're just talking, and he brings me into like the little he puts a thing on my neck, takes a picture, and then he puts me in this I don't even know it. I thought it was a CAT scan, but then it was like this picture thing that like moved around, taking like photos. And I was there for like probably like 30 minutes, and we were just talking. And so I asked him exactly. I said, "What does hot and cold mean?" He goes, "Oh, you know about hot and cold?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm definitely a person that even though, you're told don't go on the internet and start, looking at things because you're going to think things are a lot worse than what they are. I do that. I Google everything and I YouTube everything." So he said hot and cold, basically you want things to be hot, and cold sometimes can indicate whether or not there's like cancer. So a little bit goes by and we're talking about something else. And actually we were talking about like medical marijuana. Who guess who's a stoner? Not really, but so my husband, he's a felony DUI state's attorney for a county nearby, and he tells me all the time, and my brother's a cop, and they tell me all the time about the opiate crisis and how a lot of people get addicted to like morphine and other things in a hospital, and then they move on to like a bigger and badder street drugs like heroin and everything else. So I was like talking to him about medical marijuana, and I'm for it, whatever, judge all you want. But I was talking to him about surgery because I do have an appointment made with a surgeon. If I didn't talk about that in my last video, I'll quickly do a little recap about that at the end because I don't remember. My brain went to mush. So I had brought that up, and we were talking about whether or not like hospitals, because I don't know, I'm stupid. I don't know things. But I asked, I'm like, so like instead of like morphine, could they give me like medical marijuana if I need my thyroid removed? And he's like, well, it doesn't really get rid of the pain. It just kind of relaxes you. I'm like, oh, speaking from experience, huh? And he just laughed. And so then I did say this to him. I said, hey, I kept a little bit quiet. Like, I know you are not supposed to say anything because you're the technician and the doctor is supposed to have final say. And then I said this. But between you and me, I think technicians and nurses probably know more than the doctor. I'm trying to like kiss his butt a little bit because you're about to see what I want, right? I'm sure you can guess. And I said, just like paralegals, like my husband's a lawyer. I said paralegals and nurses, and I do believe this, technicians of sorts, they know more than the actual doctor or lawyer sometimes. I mean, they're the ringmaster, but they're the performers. So shout out to nurses and paralegals, technicians. Like my dad is a dental lab technician. He owns a dental lab where he makes false teeth, and there has been times where he knows more than the dentist just because that's their expertise. whatever, just saying. And so I said, I know you guys know a lot and I trust you. He goes earlier, he said he's been doing this for like 15 or 17 years. 15, he's been at that place for 15 years, but he's been doing it for 17 at the hospital for 15 years. So I said, can you tell me like what you see? And he kind of looked at me like, I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it. And I said, and just so you know, I'm only going to take this as face value. I'm not going to take it as fact, which is kind of a lie. But, I'm like, and I'm not going to call my endocrinologist tonight and be like, well, the technician said it. I'm like, I'm not going to get you busted, man. I'm just going to spread it all over YouTube. Didn't tell him that, but, I said, just kind of, if you can, like, just so my anxiety is not so crazy. And so he said, yeah, from like my experience, it looks like you're hyper. Now remember, guys, I told you before, like, it comes back hyper and it comes back hypo. Which is it? And I know my doctor has said that the nodules produce the hyperthyroid and my Hashimoto's produces the hypo. So, yeah, we're back at that again. So then I said, do you see anything cold? Now remember what he said about cold before. He said, sometimes when they see cold, it indicates cancer. He just got quiet. And so I repeated myself. I said, do you see anything cold? Sorry, I'm getting a little worked up, and I don't even know why, because it's like not even a big deal. I need some Diet Coke. Need to get happy again. He got quiet, and he just said, well, your doctor will go over all that with you. And I said, okay. Kind of like, that's not okay. Like, tell me what you see. I need to know. And he said, just so you know, if it is cancer, like I've said before in my other videos, but he had said it, if it is cancer, it's a cancer that you want. And usually it does not spread. He's like, I've seen it before where it does, which I don't know why he would say that, especially after me asking if he sees cold. And so based on the way he said it and based on him not answering me directly, like, and I get, you guys, I really do get, like, they're not supposed to, technicians are not supposed to say stuff because look at me, I'm getting like emotional, I can feel it. But you're not supposed to say stuff because you don't want to worry the patient. Well, I actually do really appreciate them giving me that little bit. Doesn't worry me. It just kind of confirms what I feel like I already know. So if it is, he's like, but you have to come back tomorrow. And then he like followed up with, you're coming back tomorrow. We're going to see like the 24-hour mark or whatever. And we're going to like, we'll see, have better idea about what's going on. And then he said, but your hyper is up only like a little bit. It's not even like that bad. He's like, I've seen it way worse, which, okay, that's fine. I'm sure there's a lot worse cases out there. And see, my mother-in-law does this to me, and that's why I don't tell her anything. My mother-in-law went to medical school. Excuse me, I'm choking. I always am choking. My mother-in-law went to medical school for like a year and then dropped out because she had a 1-year-old or something, which we can get into that in another video about careers and being a mom and education, because that's something that I struggle with. And I'm not a mom by any means yet. I mean, we want to have kids. It's no secret. But anyway, so then she went back when her sons were older and only went for a semester. And I do think, like, once sure, you can do anything you put your mind to, but there's certain cutoffs, I think, too. Like, once you hit a certain age, being a doctor is going to be a lot different than if you were 22 or 18, graduating from high school, then you get your bachelor's. I feel like a lot of those things, like if you don't do it when you're younger, it's that much more harder to do it when you're older, especially when you have like 15-year-old sons and But my problem with my mother-in-law is she downplays literally everything of me, like everything that's wrong. Like last year I had really bad pneumonia around Christmas, and it's like, oh, it's just pneumonia. Oh, it's fine. That's curable with some antibiotics. Yeah, I know it's curable with antibiotics, but I'm coughing up blood. It sucks. Like, just give me and I'm not even looking for sympathy, but just don't tell me that like, oh, it's fine. It's like not a big deal. Because sometimes it might not seem like a big deal to you, but to the person that's going through that thing, it is a big deal. I'm not saying that pneumonia is like something to get all worked up about, but for like my thyroid, for example, when I first got the news that it was going nuts, I told my husband, and my husband told his mom, and she's like, well, a lot of people have thyroid problems. Yes, that's true. There's just no like, oh, I know Savannah can get nervous. Um, it's common, and like, there's just no, and then maybe there would be no like satisfying answer, like, or I don't want people to go, oh, it's so sad. Like, no, that's why I had to stop myself from getting worked up over something that isn't even definite, because you don't want to like work yourself up and put that energy out there. That's why you just gotta sip your Diet Coke, get back in there, your happy place. But just a little bit of support would have been nice from her, like, oh yeah, that really sucks, I'm sorry, chick, like, if there's anything I can do, let me know. That's good enough for me, but I don't want to be told that, oh yeah, there's a lot worse things out there. Yeah, there is a lot of worse things out there, and there's a lot more better things out there. Like, what's your point? Like, this is happening to me now. Sorry, that's a little rant about my mother-in-law. She's a really nice lady. She's just, I feel like people who are also like in the medical field, they have just a different perspective on illnesses and diseases, compared to like the general public who, you know, the internet is my doctor, right? So that's that. The test itself lasted 35 minutes. I did get a little dizzy during it though, because they had me laying down, like they have you laying down on this, like, I'm doing a really great job explaining this, but they have you laying down on, not a gurney, but it fit pretty nicely, almost like that bed that you go into like in a CAT scan, and it's pretty narrow. So I asked him, like, how do bigger people fit on this? Like, he's like, well, there's a weight limit of 500 pounds, but he's like, you're right, it is very narrow. And I'm like, yeah, because I almost feel like I'm 5 feet and I'm like 115 pounds, and I still feel like this, I could almost like, it's so small. Like, it's just a small, like, narrow, probably like about the width of this chair. Well, it's bigger than that, but that's like how it felt. Like, it was almost like the width of this chair that you're laying on. And then my head was like dangling off, like the pillow a little bit, because you have to be propped up for your neck, obviously. And then I had a pillow underneath my leg, and the guy was really nice. He's like, do you need a blankie? I'm like, absolutely, I need a blankie. Give me that effing blankie. And so he put a blanket on me because it was cold, and I was in shorts and this beautiful tank top or t-shirt that says Stoli on it. So he was really nice. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. And then my mom did come with me, and I didn't tell her what he said right away, just because, like, I'm already pretty like a ball of emotions, and like I said, I didn't have my Diet Coke with me to calm me down. So I didn't want to tell her about the whole hot and cold thing until I got home. And she got home, and then I told her, and she's like, well, either way, he's not the doctor. You don't know. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, he's not the doctor. I don't know. But it's just kind of like when you get that sense, and who knows? There's a good chance too that I go to see my doctor and he tells me everything looks pretty normal. But it's just that it's in the back of my mind now. So just gonna keep all my positive energy and send that out into the universe, and we'll see if that crap actually works. But all right, guys, this video has been long enough. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll let you know how the third and final interval, if you will, of this procedure goes. And, again, if you guys have anything to say it in the comments. I do read them. Like this video if you found it to be at all entertaining or you got anything out of it. Tell me if, you have people in your life that also kind of give you that feeling like, ooh, your stuff isn't really that important. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's all mother-in-laws. I don't know. But I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Have a great night.